And they had a race, for example, they will say that the horse in a 2-horse race, the one that did not fully demonstrate its potentials is called ghaib. Remember that. It's called ghaib. It means not that the horse was unseen, or not that the horse was invisible, because you know one meaning of unseen called ghaib. It meant the potentials that is inherent within that horse were not demonstrated. But the horse that exerted itself and fully demonstrated its potentials and won the race in Arabic is called shahid. So, ud'u shuhada'akum, bring those who will fully exhaust themselves and will be foolish enough to show by being obstinate that, you know what, they don't really have any confidence in this revelation given to the Prophet. So shaheed doesn't only mean to bear witness, but shaheed means to use your resources in life to the fullest, living your life in such a way that you don't really care about this revelation, because your life, which is a full demonstration of your shahada, is telling that there is doubt in this book. So when the Quran says, "Ud'u shuhada'akum min dunillah," Allah has fully demonstrated His glory in the whole universe, His wisdom, His power, His capability, as He's demonstrated His wisdom in the Quran. You and I, when we doubt the Quran, when we hold on to other corrupted ideas of culture and traditions, and we show that out with all aspects of our lives, we are fulfilling this verse. Then the Quran tells the people again, وَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا, don't be stupid and don't be foolish to challenge this book. But even if you decide to do it, and if you cannot be successful, because you and I would know, all the human brains in any country of the world, then and now, have not been successful in producing a system as lofty as divine system. Even though they use the titles, we are the people of God, we are the children of God, or we are the representatives of God, and there's no shortage of that. There is no compared to divine loftiness. No human beings on their own are capable of doing this. And that's why the Quran addressed the people behind the scenes and the people in the public arena of human society. In chapter 17 it says, Ya ma'ashar al-jinn wal-ins. Jinn doesn't mean that creature from fire. It doesn't mean that. It means the human beings who influence the societies but are generally behind the scenes. You look at society today. Who is controlling society? It is the politicians. It is the economic giants. It is the people who influence the social institutions. The people who control the educational institutions. The people who are responsible for the fashions. The people who are responsible for programming humanity and making a model and a module out of them. That they say they can tell you based on your module, they can tell you how you think, they can tell you what you eat, they can tell you what you wear, they can tell you who are your friends, they can tell you what are your recreational habits, they can tell you the kind of shopping you do, the kind of clothing you wear, and the kind of environment you'll be living in. This is powerful control. This is tremendous control. I don't see it as some kind of unknown being in fire. Who I see doing this? I see humans like yourself and myself, whose normal society is not the society of the commoners, but whose normal activity is behind the scene. Either because they choose to remain behind the scene for their own specific comforts, and because they behave and act behind the scenes that influence the society. And if you study the Qur'an, if you go and study the Qur'an, if you study Surah Al-Jinn, you will see there were rijal from the jinns whose assistance and help were sought of from rijal of the ins. And all this means, because the word rijal in Arabic has everything to do with people, not ghosts. Rijal has everything to do with people who walk on feet. So Rijal can mean feet, people with feet. Rijal can mean males, and Rijal also means humans with tremendous influence and capability and power in society. And that's what the Qur'an is teaching us. It is teaching us, and if you sit back and reflect, you will realize that the people who influence the society today in every part of the world are whom? Are the politicians. Who's wrecking the Muslim world? Who's wrecking the Muslim world? Jinns? I don't see any jinns wrecking the Muslim world. I see it's the politicians who are wrecking the Muslim world. Who's wrecking the Muslim world? Is the economic sharks of their society. I don't see that any fire is coming and creating these problems. So it's the politicians, the people behind the scenes, but who have tremendous effect and impact of those who live in the scenes. So the Qur'an is telling you and me, وَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا, and even though you cannot, وَلَن تَفْعَلُوا, you will never be able to, فَاتَّقُوا النَّارَ الَّتِي وَقُودُهَا النَّاسِ وَالْحِجَارَةِ, and be mindful of the fire. What is the fire? The fire of our lives. Not the fire that you see that burns buildings. Of course you must be aware of those fires. You don't want to push your hand in that. Or you don't want to make a fire like that in your home that will consume your home. But there's something about the fire that is mentioned immediately after that we need to make note of. Al-hijara. And this hijara doesn't mean stones or bricks or rocks. It is senseless to tell human beings that they're going to be in a fire with rocks. Throughout the Qur'an, when this terminology is used, it's used figuratively. It's used for people, even though they have ears. Thank God we have 2 ears. Even though they have 1 billion cells, thank God we have 1 billion cells. Even though we have all the capacity and the ability to listen to sense and make sense out of it, how often in our lives we have not been like the rocks. Hard-heartedness. Rock-like attitude where nothing goes through. So the Qur'an is telling you and me that this revelation that came, it's all about loftiness.